If Njideka tells you good morning, check your clock. If she says she's on her way, start boiling rice because she's still in bed. And if she ever says, God knows I'm telling the truth, run. That's when the lie is about to enter the second year. From the very beginning, and I mean from when she was still wearing pampers and using her fingers to draw on walls, Njideka was known as a liar. Not the kind of liar that tells small white lies like I forgot or I didn't see your message. No, Njideka lied with style, with power, and with her full chest. The people of Imike used to say, if Njideka tells you it's raining, my dear, wear sunglasses. It started early. According to her mother, the first time Njideka said mama, it wasn't even to her mother. It was to the neighbor who had just bought a new wrapper and gave Njideka biscuits. Just like that, betrayal began. By the time she turned 6, she had already claimed to be the niece of a Nollywood actress, told her classmates that her daddy was building a house in Dubai, and faked a leg injury because she didn't want to sweep the compound. Her lies weren't random. No, they came with full description, backstory, and sometimes sound effects. One time in primary school, she said her uncle bought her a pink bicycle with Bluetooth and alarm system. She described the seat, the handle, the horn, even claimed it could play Wizkid songs. Her classmates clapped for her. Till today, nobody has seen that bicycle. And if you ever try to catch her, she will just blink and say, so you're calling me a liar? And the guilt will shift to you. Even the village pastor fell victim. During children's harvest, Njideka said she was fasting for 3 days to hear from God. Meanwhile, she was hiding, eating her puff-puff under the altar and eating one every time choir was rehearsing. By age 13, her lies had graduated. She now told people she was allergic to garri, even though she grew up soaking it with groundnut every Saturday. She said her grandfather was a king, but a quiet one that didn't like attention. That's why, according to her, there was no photo of him. At 16, she told the boy in the neighborhood that she was half Ghanaian, half Italian. And the boy, poor boy, started calling her Bellissima. He even started watching Italian cooking shows so he could impress her. Meanwhile, Njideka had never crossed the river Niger. Her mother once poured holy water in her bath, thinking it was a spiritual problem. Her father gave up and started praying for her future husband. Even her grandmother said, this girl will lie until lie itself gets tired. But Njideka wasn't lying out of wickedness. She didn't steal, she didn't fight. She just didn't like being ordinary. The truth to her was boring. Why say I went to the market when you could say these 3 men followed me to the market, but I escaped by entering the pepper seller's kiosk? Her life was an action movie inside her head. People tried though. They didn't fold their arms. Her auntie once invited her to a deliverance service where the pastor slapped her forehead and shouted, "Spirit of lie, come out!" Njideka fell. She even foamed small. But 2 hours later, she told her cousin that the foam was from yogurt she drank earlier. Another time, her school principal called her parents and said, if this girl doesn't stop lying, she will end up telling the truth one day and nobody will believe her. Her parents cried that day, but Njideka, she cried too. Crocodile tears. The next day, she told her teacher she was crying because her British stepfather was deported. The teacher gave her Fanta and Chin-Chin. Nothing worked. Then she discovered Instagram. If you thought Njideka was a local champion, you were wrong. Because after secondary school, when Njideka got a small Android phone with a cracked screen and discovered Instagram, the devil clapped for her. That was the day she found her true calling. She created a new page at Real NJ Luxury. Her bio, interior designer, real estate consultant, God's favorite, skin therapist, hashtag soft life only. Her first post was a borrowed photo of a plate of prawns and coconut rice from a restaurant in Lekki. She captioned it, Lagos stress, but I say soft. Hashtag self-made, hashtag launch date. Meanwhile, she was in her aunt's room in Egbeda, wearing wrapper and eating indomie. She started borrowing clothes from friends, wigs, taking pictures in hotel lobbies, pretending she was waiting for someone. She would snap in front of cars that weren't hers and tag brands that didn't know her. She lied in captions. She lied in DMs. She lied even in her sleep. She even created a fake staff WhatsApp group where she sent herself messages like, Ma, the client wants to move the meeting to 2 p.m. Will you be available? Then she would screenshot and post on her status to look busy. Men started falling like mangoes. Suitors from London, Abuja, Asaba. Everyone wanted the soft girl with fine skin and business sense. But Njideka was smart. She didn't answer all of them. Only the ones that looked rich. Especially the ones who said, I like that you're hardworking. Not like these other slave queens. She would reply humbly, "Aw, thank you. I just want to build my empire silently." Meanwhile, the empire was 3 wigs, one fake Zara bag, and two roommates that hated her guts. But even with all the makeup and lies and filter, Njideka had one rule. She never fell in love with broke boys. She believed love was for people who had paid rent in advance. If you didn't have a car or at least a cousin in Canada, Njideka couldn't hear you. Her heart didn't beat for poverty. And so she filtered her suitors with style. The ones that were all matching Ankara and walked like the old CBN, she ghosted them. The ones with UK accents and iPhones with big cars, she replied slowly, strategically. The key was mystery. She wanted them to believe she was very beautiful, even if she was just waiting for NEPA to bring light. That was the life until the day she met Malik. It was one of those evenings where Lagos felt like soup that refused to boil. Humid, crowded, hot for no reason. Njideka had gone to a fancy lounge in VI just to take pictures, not to buy anything. She ordered water, wore her finest wig, and sat by the window with sunglasses at 6:45 p.m. She had already taken 3 selfies and was adjusting her camera angle when someone walked past her table and paused. "Excuse me," he said, voice calm like a jazz song. "You dropped your card." Njideka blinked. "My card?" He handed her a small golden piece of paper. It wasn't hers. She was about to say so, but then she looked up and saw him. Tall, neatly dressed. No Gucci belt or shiny chains, just a plain dark shirt, fitted trousers, and a vintage wristwatch that didn't scream money, but whispered, "I've arrived," quietly. "Malik." He smiled, not too wide, just enough to suggest confidence and secrets. "You're welcome," he said, then walked to her. Njideka's heart did bim bim, not because he was handsome, though he was, but because he didn't look like the men she was used to deceiving. There was something different, like he was hiding something too. She looked at the card in her hand. It was written Malik A. Logistics and Strange Consultant. No number, no social media, just a quiet.com website. She felt her heart start itching. 5 minutes later, she walked to the bar. "Excuse me, do you have a lighter?" she asked, though she didn't smoke. He looked at her calmly. "You don't smoke." She laughed. "I know, but it worked, didn't it?" He laughed too, and just like that, conversation started flowing. She told him she was an interior designer, that she had just come from a client's site, that her phone was ringing non-stop because her driver was stuck in traffic. Meanwhile, her phone hadn't rung all day, and her last job was arranging wigs in her roommate's bedroom. Malik listened, not dead, asked a few questions but never pressed too hard. He said he was an IT consultant who had just returned from the UK to supervise one of his estates in Nigeria. He said he didn't like flashy girls, liked women who were grounded, that his last relationship failed because the girl was too obsessed with Instagram. Njideka nearly choked on her free water. She adjusted immediately, deleted her story post mid-conversation, changed her accent from Lekki babe to simple Aba girl with sense. She even said she used to sell pepper for her auntie before God elevated her. Malik smiled. He said he liked that. Humility is rare these days, he told her. Njideka smiled back, already calculating the caption she will use if she proposed. "Marry my peace, not my noise. He found me when I wasn't looking. Hashtag soft life found me." They exchanged numbers. Actually, Malik didn't ask. He simply said, "Send me a message when you get home," and handed her his phone. The confidence. As she typed her number, Njideka caught her reflection on the screen and smiled. "Wow, this one might lead to love," she whispered, clutching her phone like it was an engagement ring. From that day, Malik did something no man had ever done before. He didn't chase her. Instead, he drew her in with quiet class, loud bank account, and silk-tongued messages that dripped premium energy. One day, out of the blue, he sent a picture. A leather-bound notebook on a mahogany desk, a pair of glasses, 2 MacBooks. Behind it, a panoramic view of Lagos skyline. "Still stuck in the office. What's your go-to stress food?" Njideka zoomed in, the floor-to-ceiling windows, the champagne bucket in the corner, the white orchid. It wasn't a regular office. It was a suite. She replied, "Bread and sardine." He sent back laughing emojis and wrote, "I'll fly in fresh sourdough from Paris for you next weekend." She knew he was joking, but the kind of joke you make when it's actually possible. That week, He posted a WhatsApp status, a blurry photo of him speaking on a panel. Banner behind him read, Tech Rising West Africa Summit. Keynote, Malik Obusiyi. She blinked. He was wearing a navy suit, no tie, crisp pocket square, mic clipped to his corner. Her jaw dropped. The next morning, he called, video call this time. She wrapped her head with a scarf and tried to look casual. Hey, layered cake, I'm at the hangar waiting to board. She blinked. Hangar cake. He turned the camera around, a white private jet, background voices, his assistant, a man in uniform holding an iPad. Njideka went cold. We're heading to Cotonou for a quick investor breakfast. I'll be back by 4. Then he looked straight at her, smiled softly and said, If you were here, I'll take you with me. You will love the grilled tilapia they serve at the marina. She couldn't even reply. She just sent heart eyes. Later that night, he sent her a video. He was in a hotel suite, plush carpeted, gold accents. A harpist was playing softly in the corner. A real harpist. Dinner with clients, but I'd rather be sharing suya with you under a fan. Lie. You could never eat suya again. Not with that kind of carpet. By now, Njideka was sold. She began curating her own backstory better. More elite lies. No more I worked in Dubai. Now it was I did some consulting for a fashion house in Abu Dhabi, but didn't like the culture. Classy lies. Tailored lies. One night, she asked, So, do you live in Lagos or Benin? Both, Malik said. Lagos is for business, Benin is for breathing, and I have an estate just outside the city. Quiet place. You would love it. Estate. That was the final spell. But Njideka didn't know the truth. Malik was lying. The office, the car, the private jet, he had borrowed all of it. And Malik played so smoothly, so perfectly, he didn't let her guess. 3 months later, on a calm Thursday night, Malik called her. What are you doing this weekend? Njideka smiled. It depends. What are you doing? There was a soft pause, then he said, My uncle is having a small birthday thing in Benin. It's not a party, just a quiet family dinner. I would like you to come. Njideka froze. Benin ke? Has he traveled to see your family? Already? She looked around her small shared flat like she was checking if someone else had it. No one did. Her roommate was snoring. Yeah, sure, she said, adjusting her voice to sound elegant. But won't your people say it's too soon? Malik chuckled. You don't know my family. They are not noisy. They just want to meet someone that makes me happy. And you do. Her heart did backflip. She muted the call, screamed into her pillow, unmuted and replied calmly, That's sweet. I would love to come. The next day, she pulled her in case of emergency wig from the suitcase, borrowed a new handbag from her cousin. She even booked a slot for a rushed facial on credit. By Saturday morning, she was ready, but Malik shocked her. He didn't come with a car, or Uber, or even a clean keke. He came in jeans and shirt and took her to a regular interstate bus park. Let's go, he said with a smile, buying gala and 2 bottles of water. Njideka blinked. Wait, is this how we are going? He leaned close. My uncle doesn't like noise. If we show up a private car and big energy, he will think you're Raz. She swallowed the insult, nodded like a supportive queen. Of course. Simplicity is class. But as they sat in the bus and she held her nose beside someone frying puff-puff beside her window, she muttered, Soft life, please don't abandon me. They arrived Benin late evening. The compound was large, sprawling across acres of beautiful trees and flowers. A majestic, gleaming black iron gate, intricately designed, marked the entrance to this opulent estate. The sound of softly flowing water from the courtyard added to the serene ambience. Many expensive cars were parked in the driveway. A gentleman opened the door. Welcome. You must be Njideka, the old man said. She smiled. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. They gave her juice, fried yam, called her wife. Inside, there were lots of people discussing and laughing while eating and drinking. She relaxed. This was real. A man who respected his elders, family that was grounded, no noise. She was already planning Ankara for their pre-wedding shoot. That night, after everyone had eaten and the party was over, Malik and Jideka sat outside on the veranda. The night air wrapped around them like wrapper. Calm, no mosquitoes, just that soft breeze that makes you forget you're in Nigeria. Malik didn't talk much. He just sat beside her, arm resting behind her back, not touching but near enough. Jideka looked at him out of the corner of her eye. His side profile looked like trust. She cleared her throat. So your uncle is this nice? Malik smiled small. He's not nice, but I think he likes you. Jideka swallowed. Really? He nodded. They don't usually say much, but I can tell from the way he behaved tonight. She looked down at her nails. That's good. There was silence. Then he turned to her, suddenly serious. Jideka, I want you in my life. Her breath caught. Not in a movie kind of way. In a real kind of way. Like that feeling when NEPA brings light in the middle of the dark night. Shocking but comforting. I want that too, she said, almost whispering. He smiled again. That calm, kind smile that made her stomach do backflips. Then came a pause. A long pause. He turned away from her, looked up at the mango tree in the corner of the compound and exhaled. There's something I've been handling quietly in Dubai. Family and business. Once it's cleared, I'm settling fully. No more half steps. Jideka's heart fluttered. She nodded, trying to hold her joy with dignity. This is it, she thought. The end of struggle. No more fake life. The real soft life has finally found her. Then he rubbed his neck. He looked genuinely uncomfortable, but I need a small favor. Everything paused in her spirit. Not alarm, not even suspicion. Just that tiny flicker in her chest that whispered, wait. But she blinked it away. Okay, she said slowly. What is it? Malik sighed. One of my business accounts is frozen. International limit wahala. I need a clean local account to help move a payment. About ₦1 million for a week. I'll return it next Thursday, I promise. Jideka's first instinct was ask questions. But she didn't want to seem insecure. She didn't want to break the magic. She didn't want to be like those other girls he always complained about. The ones who didn't understand the pressure men face. So instead of asking questions, she smiled. That's not a problem. Inside her chest, something small crumbled, but she ignored it. That night, she texted her cousin. Please, Andy, I need small loan, I beg. I will double it by next weekend. I'm very, very serious. The cousin replied with, are you sure? Yes, Jideka replied. And 30 minutes later, the ₦1 million alert entered. Jideka exhaled. She felt useful, needed, trusted. She took her phone to Malik, handed it over. Use this account. He looked at her like she just gave him oxygen. He hugged her, not too tight, just enough to say thank you without saying thank you. You're different, really different, he whispered. Jideka smiled, eyes closed, breathing in a future that did not exist. The next morning, Malik was gone. Not in a dramatic way, not with noise or excuse, just gone. His bag was missing, his shoes, the charger he left behind the bed. Jideka woke up and reached for her phone to text him something sweet. But when she saw the empty space on the floor where his sneakers had been, something shifted. She stared at it for a while. Maybe he stepped out. She checked the time. 7:42 a.m. She waited. 8, 9, 10. Yet nothing. She called his number. His line was switched off. She waited some more. Maybe his battery died. Maybe he left his phone charging in the main house and stepped out. Maybe he went to buy something or went to a gym. She called again. Still switched off. Her chest started doing small calculations. She opened WhatsApp. His DP was no more. She checked his chat with him. Last seen yesterday, 11:43 p.m. She waited. Maybe he deactivated his accounts because of privacy. Yes, that's something Malik would do. He was low-key. He didn't like noise. He once said social media was toxic. Yes, that's it. Maybe he just wanted peace. So she refreshed, closed the app, opened it again. Nothing. Then she called the logistics number from his card, the one Malik had given him the first day they had met. The phone rang. Her heart jumped in excitement. Then a woman picked. "Hello, Yichin Express Delivery." The voice said in a heavy Chinese accent. Njideka blinked. "Sorry, who is this?" The woman repeated it again. "Yichin what?" She ended the call. Now her heart was no longer jumping. It was pounding like generator beside the church crusade. She called the uncle's number, the one that had welcomed her with juice just yesterday. The number was also switched off. She dressed quickly as she stepped outside the room, knocking at the doors around the compound. No one opened. Then she ran outside to ask the compound boy, "Oga, that man that came here yesterday with me, do you remember him?" The boy squinted. "That man?" "Yes, that man and the old man." "Where are they?" "They don't stay here. Oh. This place is a shortlet, and it was my oga that gave them key." "Shortlet?" "Yes, madam." She blinked. "And the old man that greeted me as the owner of the house?" The boy shrugged. "He told me to call him Uncle Sylvester." "Sylvester?" "Yes. He's an actor in one theater group like that here in Benin." Njideka's breath caught in her throat. She hesitated, then asked, "Wait, the people that came for the party that day, all those uncles and aunties in Abada, who were they then?" The boy smirked. Madam. They are the drama group now. I overheard them saying something about birthday party. Maybe one of them was doing his birthday yesterday. I even saw some of them changing their clothes inside the car." Her mouth felt open slightly. "So none of them were real?" The boy scratched his head. "I don't know, madam. All I know is I'm here to do my job as security." Chideka sat down on the small pavement. Her legs refused to carry her. The roasted corn breeze that once felt like peace now felt like betrayal. She opened her bank app. 1 million naira gone. Cleared. Not even 2 naira 52 left for service fee. She called again. Still switched off. She opened WhatsApp and recorded a voice note. "Malik, if this is a test, please, I beg you, just call me. Say something, anything." She stared at the message after sending it. Then she deleted it. That evening, Njideka stood at the edge of the compound gate, blinking hard so the tears won't fall. She had just been thrown out of the house because their time had elapsed. She had no transport money, no ego left, only her small handbag and a dying phone battery, and shame. The gate man, who once smiled at her when she came in with her heels clicking and her hips swinging, now looked at her like she was trash. "Madam, abeg, shift from this place now. How can you come to this kind of place without money?" he said, chewing gum like her pain was comedy. She didn't respond, just stood there for a while, arms crossed trying to think. She called her cousin. He didn't pick. Called her roommate. Switched off. She tried to do soft voice for a woman passing by. "Auntie, please, can you help me with transport?" The woman didn't even look at her, just held her handbag tighter and walked faster. She tried to smile at a man who looked like he could be kind. "Good evening, sir. Please, I just need..." "Go and meet your boyfriend," the man spat, not even stopping his stride. Jideka's hands started to shake. The sun had started to go down. Her makeup had melted long ago. She could smell herself. And it was not fine fragrance. It was regret, sweat, and powdered disappointment. Eventually, she started walking down from the estate gate to the main road. From the main road to the express. She walked and walked, praying anyone would just see her and help her. Then at the junction near the park, she slumped on a low cement block, legs trembling. A tear rolled down her cheek and she didn't bother to wipe it. She didn't notice the woman until she sat beside her. "Excuse me," the woman said gently. "Are you okay?" Njideka almost laughed. "Okay. She hadn't been okay since she stepped into that relationship. Please, ma, I need to go back to Lagos, she whispered. But I don't have. The woman looked at her. Her wrapper was clean, her face was soft, and her eyes, they weren't suspicious. They were kind. How much is your fare? Jideka looked up, stunned. 5,000 naira, she said quietly, voice cracking. The woman opened her bag, counted out the money, and handed it to her without asking for a story. Jideka held the notes in her hand like she was holding gold. Thank you so much, ma, she whispered, already crying. The woman smiled. Make sure you get home safe. Then she stood, crossed the road, and disappeared. Jideka never saw her again. Jideka didn't cry on the bus, not loud, at least. Her body was too tired, but her heart bled. She stared out the window, wondering how someone who curated perfection online could fall this hard in real life. Every lie she told echoed in her mind like a drumbeat. Interior designer, property consultant, soft life ambassador. She was none of those, just a girl who learned how to package. Back in Lagos, she tiptoed into her shared flat. Her roommate raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Jideka collapsed on the mattress and stared at the ceiling for hours. Phone off, wig off, pride off. For the next 2 weeks, she didn't post. No filters, no reels, no quotes about energy. She just wore her clothes, used Vaseline. And then, one hot Thursday afternoon, she took a deep breath, wrapped her scarf and walked to her aunt's salon. Her aunt was braiding someone's hair when Jideka showed up at her salon. She didn't do fake smile, didn't greet anyone. She just said, voice low but clear, Auntie, please, I don't know anything, but I want to learn. I am ready to learn. Her aunt looked at her, then looked away. Silence filled the shop. Even the customers turned slightly. Then the aunt pointed at the broom near the water drum. Start there, with cleaning. Jideka swept slowly like she was sweeping pieces of her former life into the dustpan. She didn't ask for pay, didn't take selfies, didn't post anything on her stories. She just walked, folded towels, held mirrors for customers. One customer asked if she was a new copper. Another asked if she was doing her own salon soon. Jideka smiled sadly and said, no, I'm not any of those. I'm just learning. And for once, it wasn't a lie. That night, she opened Instagram for the first time in weeks. Her bio still read interior designer, real estate mogul, global consultant, soft life boss. She stared at it for a long while, then tapped edit. She deleted everything. Typed, just Njideka, still learning. She didn't post it with ring light, didn't wait for perfect lighting or fake laugh. Just her in her room, in her wrapper, in her truth. She looked at her reflection in the window, barefaced, tired, but at least it was truly her, and whispered, this time, I will build with honesty, even if it's slow. And for the first time in her life, she meant it. The end. So if you're watching this and you've ever lied to fit in, if you've ever felt like the real you wasn't good enough, or if you've ever been caught in your own web and didn't know how to come out, just remember Njideka. Start small, tell one truth, say one honest thing, and sit with it. It might feel slow, it might feel strange, it might even feel embarrassing. But one day when someone says, so what do? You smile and say, I live honestly. And that's everything. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that even the biggest lies can lead to the deepest truths, if we are brave enough to stop performing. See you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.